So I just watched through the entire Honkai Star Rail 3.5 live stream, like all of the major like video points, the character points, the event points, the banner points, and everything. And rather than make you guys sit through my 50-minute reaction, I'm going to just talk about the things that I think are good about the patch and bad about the patch as someone that has a lot of experience in this game and is always looking forward to the newer units. You know, a lot of people hyped up this this live stream this morning when I was checking it out. They're like, oh my God, there's so many new characters that they're introducing, and Alicia came back, and High Ceilings looks really good, and just all these things. So I was super stoked to get a look at it, and I do think the trailer was actually really interesting, but I do think that it seems more like a trailer for the rest of Amphorius than one patch, because if they put this all in one patch, that's going to be kind of crazy. I mean, we're introducing tons of new characters, but maybe that's better for development. I don't really know what Hoyoverse is cooking with it. The trailer was pretty good. I think the trailer was awesome. Showing Alicia here is hype too. People are gonna probably be mad that I'm calling her Alicia and not Serene, but like, look at this design and then look at Alicia, Honkai, and back third and tell me that that is not the same character, right? Like, that is 100%. It is the same character with a little bit of a different personality. Also, the Honkai Impact third official Twitter allegedly tweeted something about Alicia right when this stream ended. Let's check it out. Literally, these guys just randomly tweet out an Alicia tweet right after the stream ends. I know what you are. I know what you're doing. Yeah, Pink Jesus is so back. One complaint I do have about the live stream, the trailers and stuff. I mean, it's hype. I'm glad that they like built up the hype moments. I know that's normally what you do for trailers, but it does feel like almost in a way they kind of spoiled some big reveals, like the two different forms of Don Hung and March. I feel like could have been one of those things where it'd be really cool if we didn't know it was going to happen, and then it did just randomly happen. And the Alicia thing, I think it was just more of like a, well, let's get all the HI3 players interested in what's going on, and the people that don't play HI3, let's get them interested in whatever this character is that they don't know. So I don't know. I guess I understand it from trying to build a hype standpoint, but I do kind of feel like every single time there's a new patch, we get a lot of major plot points spoiled. So what was actually worse than the trailer about spoiling though was the boss fight that they started showing us for some reason. I don't really know why they started going into all the details of this boss and the fact that it's gonna be a boss. Like, anyone with a 5th grade brain or higher could probably figure out that we were gonna fight Lygus at some point, but they really just went out here and were like, all right, guys, here's the Lygus boss fight. Here's what's going to happen exactly to a T. Here's how all of the boss mechanics in the Lygus boss fight work. It's like they were writing out tags for a YouTube video and they were putting in every single keyword. Lygus boss fight, Lygus weekly event, Lygus weekly loot, end of Honkai Star Rail boss fight Lygus. Like, it just felt like every single keyword was in there to try and tell us what's going on. And I was like, I would like to be surprised when we find the new boss. Personally, I don't feel like this was necessary. I kind of wish they didn't put it in, but it is what it is. All right, so High Ceilings. High Ceilings is gorgeous, and they knew what they were doing with this one frame. Like, literally the first frame we see her on, and it's literally thigh close up. Like, okay, buddy, I know what you are. Her stomach is water. I want to be Ford. Her design is really cool, and it's cool that we have another Dot character. If you guys don't know, Dot is an archetype that was recently more or less brought back up and into relevancy with Kafka buffs. However, it does have a problem that we just haven't gotten a lot of new Dot characters in the game since the main Dot meta, which was basically Kafka Black Swan when that came out, and then they kept increasing HP of enemies, and when that happened, Dot was no longer able to keep up. So they buffed Kafka, and now she's like pretty good again. Now we have High Ceilings, who's going to raise the ceiling of Dot even higher than it was before, which is really exciting. I still think the problems with Dot are going to be the same problems as a lot of other archetypes, where if they keep increasing the HP of enemies, like Dot as a comp will fall off because there's not a lot of Dot options for characters, right? The biggest problem I see with Dot is that, like, early on in the game, the only Dot trigger we had was Kafka, and I think we do just need more Dot trigger characters, but they need to find different ways to implement it. But High Ceilings looks really interesting, and I think that she is going to keep Dot afloat for a while. Yeah, and one thing I really like about High Ceilings attacks is she looks really fluid. And that's funny because there's fluid because she's using water to attack, guys. And I think that is, it's like, if you guys don't get it, it's like a double entendre because she has fluid movements and she uses fluid in her attacks. That's why I think High Ceilings is really cool, guys. That's why.
Wow.
Okay, bro, make new jokes. I can't. I have to reuse them all in videos. Oh yeah, but I think High Ceilings, if you're a Dot enjoyer, you probably pull High Ceilings. I think that's like a pretty good idea. The other character that they introduced was Saridra, who I thought her art looked really sick, but I think seeing her model in game, I actually don't like it as much. But that doesn't really matter because what matters is her gameplay, right? So her gameplay is she's basically Magnus Carlsen of HSR, and her whole thing is that she buffs you whenever she gets a checkmate or something, and basically that buff makes it so you attack again. I think that this is a really cool concept, but it depends on how much value the rest of her kits, whether or not she'll actually be good. Obviously it's going to be good for characters like Finan, because Finan can meteor twice in a row, and that's such a big portion of his damage that if she can just repeat it, that would be pretty sick. But I don't think that every single character can benefit from this. I think Anaxa also is just going to be really funny because he's going to attack 4 times. It's just like an instant ultimate. But generally speaking, I do think she needs to offer some kind of substantial buffs as well to make it worth using her over just speed tuning someone to like Sunday and Robin. And that's going to be one of the biggest downsides to her if she doesn't end up holding up. So I did mention in a community post that I would still be doing the pre-release videos because they take considerably less effort for me to make. I don't have to test for weeks and script them. I'm just doing my my first impressions on the character, right? So I pick them up, I play them for like an hour or two, and then I make the video. And I will be making them for High Sealands and Saridra, just because, I mean, it's easy, guys, and I still play the game, so why not? I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know what I think about Saridra when I get to play her. I think High Sealands is first, so I'll let you guys know how she is as well. But right now, that's my biggest concern for Saridra. However, you can also argue that if she doesn't power creep older characters, that's actually a good thing. That means that HSR has changed, guys. HSR no longer power creeping means we're saved, and you never have to worry about it ever again, guys. That's, I don't know, man. I think it would be cool if she was a side grade to some of the stuff we currently have. I think that'd be dope. As for the banners, honestly, nothing super insane. They buffed Kafka, so she's back on banner. If you want to play High Sealands, and you want to have her actually be useful, you probably pull Kafka, guys. That's probably the combo. You're going to need both of those characters, but it's going to be a pretty strong team, I think. The 4 stars aren't worth pulling for. The light cones, honestly, the March one is okay. Basically, if you want to play Dot and you want to play Kafka, her and High Sealands are both good pickups this patch, but you definitely don't need them to clear endgame. I mean, there's plenty of other strong characters that released in Amphoreus. So looking at the second half, we have Saridra, who's going to be that one character that benefits Finan and probably Anaxa the most. And then we also have Silverwolf. Now, Silverwolf's buffs made her insanely powerful. A lot of the time, people would use Silverwolf and then they would be like, well, I should just use Pela because it affects AoE, whereas Silverwolf doesn't, and it's just easier to play. But Silverwolf has always been very strong, even when she didn't apply that AoE. It's just that now she does apply debuffs with AoE, so now she's way better. One of the strongest support characters in the entire game. The only thing holding her back is she doesn't have an action forward, which if we gave an action forward to every character, then it would just be insane. But she is a very strong character now, so if you are interested in getting a good debuffer for your team, if you are playing Acheron, you probably want Silverwolf to play. And yeah, it's gonna make a huge difference on your account now compared to where she was at in like 2.0 and stuff. In 1.0, she was pretty good too, but then she fell off because single target and boss HP inflation kind of just made it not super worth it. Yeah, she is amazing, you guys. You should definitely play her. Although I don't think that you should pull for her light cone. I think if you're gonna pull a light cone for Silverwolf, that's a premium light cone. You pull Cypher's light cone, which is really insane to think about, but that's the state of things right now. Other than that, we just got some events. We like run a restaurant, and then there's the drink events back, which is holy cinema. Everyone loves this event. And then if we go to the end, we have this sort of like you send them on expeditions event, and to help out Herda, you get some rewards and stuff. That's basically it. They also said they're going to be adding this button, which allows you to use the original voice for a character. This is good for the fake characters that are not voiced in English. That means you can play them in Japanese while you're playing English dub. I was kind of hoping they would add like a drop down menu and you could choose what language you want to play them in. Not necessarily the fake characters, but just all characters. I was hoping they would do that in the future. But based on how they added a checkbox that is a yes or no button, that is a true or false button, that chooses whether or not you play them in Japanese or don't play them at all. That makes me think that they're not gonna add that feature to other characters. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but I do think that this is nice that we can finally hear Archer speak English in JP dub in your English dub. So yeah, that'll be dope. And overall, I think 3.5 will be a decent patch for HSR, but I think the real meat of where everyone's gonna be excited for this game again is going to be probably 3.6 or 3.7 when we get towards the end of Amphoreus and when we start seeing Elysia more. The events, fights just kind of aren't really cutting it for me. I think they could be a lot more interesting. This might end up being an insane story patch based on the trailer, but I kind of feel like the trailer has to be for like all of Amphorius because they just did so much in that one trailer and there's so many new characters. Like odds are not that high that all of that's going to be next patch, but if it is, that'd be great. Otherwise, I do think this one's going to feel like a bit of a slow patch for a lot of folks while we kind of wait for this other March 7th and this new Dan Heng and stuff like that. It's definitely not like the worst patch that Honkai Star Rail's ever had by any means. I do think it'll be slower feeling though than the 3.4 patch just because we had so many new things right at the start of 3.4. Hopefully they start doing more character buffs soon. I would love to see some of the older units get a little bit stronger. Yeah, I'll be playing this. I'll be playing the story live probably like a week or so after it comes out. I'm gonna try my best not to get spoiled, but I'm gonna be in China for Kuro Games Fest, or Wuthering Waves Fest, so I will not be able to play this immediately. But yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. I think it'll be good.